Hello, and welcome to Geeks Assembled. And here's Susan on the other side of the pond cheering us on.
Yay!
Yay! And
And
this
welcome
week,
to Super Bowl Sunday.
is
It's a big,
on
it's
the
a big, big match, shall we
oh
say, here in the 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 colonies, the ungrateful colonies. We are playing the American football, and our two best teams, the San Francisco 49ers and the
oh,
Kansas City Chiefs, are together in Las Vegas at the new Las Vegas Raiders Stadium, uh, gonna have their battle, and Taylor Swift is there.
oh well, you've put me off now.
All right, well, that's all right.
Not my cup of tea.
No, no, it's all right. We're different kinds of geeky here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And we're going to get back on track with this geeky cast because we're discussing a British cult sci-fi TV serial from 1955.
Hmm.
Um, in total, there was four in TV
Six.
series.
Oh, six.
There was four series. There was the first one, the second one, and the one in the 70s, which
Oh,
is written by the author Nigel Neal. Of course, we're talking the Quatermass, and this one we are discussing is Quatermass II. Um, Not to be mixed up with the movie, which came at a later date. This is the TV serial in six parts, which it was aired on the BBC. Um, the first TV series, just called the Quatermass Experiment, I think that doesn't exist anymore. It's like many BBC series and shows. They all got wipes or burnt. But luckily enough, Quatermass 2 still exists in all six episodes.
yeah.
So
That was quite lucky.
it was, yeah. And this is about us. The story is there's little meteors falling to Earth. Things are coming out of the little um, the little meteorites and infecting people uh, in a strange way. And Quatermass decides upon himself to investigate, and that's the sort of brunt of the story.
Hmm.
So we're going to go to Susan now. We're opening thoughts on Quatermass 2.
All right. Well, Quatermass two is um. Well, I thought it could have been an audio. The way I discovered it was through looking for an audio adventure, and someone had recorded it off the telly, and it was quite nice. I mean, I was going to ask Lee how he coped with the narration, because in the middle, apparently Nigel Keel actually, does a bit of narrating here and there, just to, further the story along. Was it? But just you move. There are some slow bits, but it's quite it's quite interesting that that he is sort of part of it. The author is, and that's maybe down to the fact that he probably said, well, yes, I've written this story, but I won't give it to you unless I'm allowed to be part of it on the telly. And he, you know so they let him. It's Quatermass, kind of younger, middle-aged Quatermass, and older middle-aged Pew, his partner, his scientific comrade in the lab, who have discovered that these things that are these things that are coming out of meteorites that make it to Earth, sort of crack open, and some gas escapes, and in the gas there's a creature, and in the creature it goes inside of them, and then it attaches to the brainstem and starts to demand things, because
Mhm.
and it, they don't have very long to get attached to a person, because they die in the oxygen rich atmosphere of Earth in incredibly quick, like just like that. Such a short time span of life, and sort of that's kind of how they eventually deal with all of this, is like through, exposure to oxygen rich atmosphere, and it takes them a long time to figure out what it is that they can do, what keys they can use to affect the lifespan of these characters, these creatures. And it does affect a lot of people.
Mhm.
um it is it it has in it a sort of a Pertwee, well, there is a reason that it has a Pertwee uh Doctor Who feel, and that's that Roger Delgado's in it. And you know you kind of get even though seems like he is a totally different character. I mean, the way he speaks is very, very posh, and almost flamboyant, and he's way different than the master, but or way different than his own master portrayal. But it's really good to see him. He did. The only trouble is, and this is where I get like into the metaphysical right away for you, is that he dies in a car accident seemingly. And I mean, I don't like the fact that that was kind of what was going on with him in Turkey back then. Oh my God. It was so prophetic. It was annoying. And the other the other the other things that happen with this beautiful story are the empowerment of one of the the women who was with them all the time. uh I think her name was Paula. Let me see. Wait, that's not it. Let me see. um yeah, Paula Quatermass. So she's a scientist as well,
Mm.
and that was awfully fun to see, Bernard and Bernard Quatermass and Paula Quatermass doing science.
His daughter, yeah.
Daughter, yeah. And Hugh Griffith played Dr. Leo Pugh, and you know he he makes it even all the way up into that the he goes past the orbit of Mars with Quatermass in the rocket group It's all about the rocket group, okay? That's their team. It's like their scientific organization. It's like their version of Stark Enterprises, the rocket group. Anyway. So I enjoyed it. I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I did listen to 3 of the episodes before we switched to the video versions. I went back and watched the videos this week, but I enjoyed listening to them as much as I enjoyed watching them. There wasn't that many quiet spots. There was, you know, I just, what did you think of the narration, and did it bother you? And then did
Well, it
the,
wasn't.
go
It
ahead.
wasn't. It wasn't narration. It was what do you call it? A recap of the previously on Quatermass at the beginning of the episodes, which was Nigel Neal. Um,
Yeah.
so it wasn't really narration. It was just like a recap.
Okay. Okay.
So I was fine with that.
All right.
If it was narration all the way through, then I would be up in arms.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, but
That's like you.
yeah, well, um, I can understand why you say about the feel of it being, like a Pertwee who, but I I've always thought that Quatermass Nigel Neal influenced Doctor Who quite a lot.
Uh-huh.
You do get a feel of Doctor Who from Quatermass.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this particular serial, you get the feel of Spearhead from Space,
Mm-hmm.
the Faceless Ones,
Yeah.
things like that. And it's just the feel, the threat on Earth.
Oh yeah.
Um, so yeah, you do get that feeling. I think it did. I think Quatermass did influence Doctor Who in the early days.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
must have.
this was the 50s, so this was well before Doctor Who started.
Yeah.
Um,
By 8 years.
yeah, and this is the second serial and the second actor to play Quatermass.
Yeah.
The first actor died a month before filming started, so they had to hurriedly get a replacement. And John Robinson took over the part.
Oh,
As
okay.
he didn't play Quatermass in the next serial. Someone else played Quatermass. So the 3 serials from the 1950s, there was 3 different actors playing Quatermass. um, yeah, it was an interesting, and they weren't too long. It's 6 episodes. They could have dragged. As you said, there was some small bits where it was just talking a bit, but it made you want to watch it more because the story got you involved.
Yeah.
Um, this little town what had been completely demolished, um, and this was it food processing plant had been
Artificial food.
artificial food processing plant had been built on the site of the demolished town. Um, the townsfolk were working there, building, completing the construction of the place.
Right?
But unbeknownst to them, it wasn't artificial food.
Oh, it
it was a
worked with the aliens.
it was a ploy for the invaded aliens to take over the planet. Really,
Right?
in this great big power dome where these gases just sort of merged, and because they couldn't breathe, as we say, they couldn't breathe in our normal atmosphere.
Yeah.
So it, they were planning to change that. Um, it was quite, it was creepy in some ways.
Yeah.
It was, you know, because back then, 1955, they didn't know about really space travel.
No.
They did, they didn't know, they didn't know what the Earth really looked like from outer space.
Right.
Um, they didn't know about alien life or anything like that. So it was all made up on the spot. Let's go to, what was it, past Jupiter or wherever it was, Saturn or whatever, within a few minutes. That in 2024, it'll still take you how many months or years to get there.
Right.
Um, they didn't know about the weightlessness of space. Um,
Oh,
but
but they did talk about like having magnetic boots.
mm,
They
but
they did mention that.
yeah, I would say the spacesuits weren't very airtight. Uh, but 1955, hey, what can you do?
Right.
But yeah, it did. I know it's a fantasy sci-fi thing, but within the last episode, it did become more fantasy than when it was all based on Earth.
Yeah.
I think for me, the threat was more real when it was still grounded on Earth.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I liked it. I mean, as you mentioned, was it Paula Quatermass? She there was I noticed every time she was on, she always, if she was doing one with a statement. Then when she was saying that her line, it was always towards the camera. You know, she'd turn and say something to the camera as if it was important. The old style of acting. None of the other actors did that. It was just her. She was just like, and then it went off to another scene. But yeah, it was a nice little British um, cult watch for me. Um, and so anything stands out for you, or
Well, yeah, you had mentioned it, um like the first couple episodes, um when they were building the structure, the
hmm
community had been invaded, and a few of the community members had been taken over by the
yeah,
aliens, and then they went to then they went then it took them like a whole episode to figure out who was being affected by this, and what, how you could tell. I mean, they had to look for an external mark on a person, and then and then as it went on, anybody who was in the food processing place and got splashed by it would come out all covered with, I bet it was colorful.
yeah,
You know, it could have been like green or purple, or bright orange or something. This super, and they come out caked in this stuff, and so there was a little bit of body horror there. That was,
mm,
and in one of the episodes, I think it was three or four, the version that I watched actually had a BBC um, test screen in front, and
yeah,
stated that uh, you really had to be careful that folks who are sensitive or something may not enjoy this. So please, you know, please turn away at this point or whatever. So
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
I think that was episode 4 or 5. Um and then the plant gets exploded, and their little bubble gets broken, and it suddenly uh looks like the fog rolled in, and that was really, that was cool. It was like, you know, it reminded me of so many British things, you know, like that whole thing. And and I love how they'd used the rocket before, and then they brought it back, and then they reused it. I mean, I mean, they Quatermass was quite ahead of its time. I mean, they're talking about going out past Mars,
Hmm.
and then they were and they were talking about like having to the asteroid belt, and then they were talking about having you know, found life on one of the moons of Saturn or something,
Yeah, it was
or
Saturn. Yeah.
even on Saturn or whatever. So that was really cool. And I liked, you know, I really like this, the the kind of energy that Quatermass had. He was like always like, no, I'm just gonna do some serious science, and then it's all funny gobbledygook and stuff. And I guess you could call this weekend the Mad Scientist weekend, because there was the aliens, there was the
Yeah.
Quatermass and Pew and stuff, and then we're gonna review 51st State, or Formula 51, and which is also about a mad scientist. Anyway, I enjoyed the heck out of this really, you know, you could listen to it as an audio adventure too. It doesn't lose much, because the visuals in this, the versions that I saw, the visuals were pretty degraded. So, but the fact that they exist, I mean, okay, I didn't realize that all of the Quatermass, uh, the Quatermass experiment, all of that television series were erased and burnt. Why? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, yeah. So I just, you know, I'm 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 a little I don't know. It's just amazing that they still have this.
Mm.
So to be able to watch it and to be able to see, you know, yes, it's good as an audio adventure, but to be able to watch it, heck yeah, that was fucking cool. Because,
Yeah.
oh,
I mean, what stands out for me is, you know, when the people are infected, it sort of turns them into slow moving zombie zombie like
zombies.
personas, and the way they portrayed them on on the screen, it was just, you know, the way they moved slow.
Hmm.
And I mean, that in the conference room where there was all the committee,
Uh-huh.
all of them were infected.
Uh-huh.
You know, you could think, well, what they're going to do? They just sat there. I
Uh-huh.
mean, that was quite spooky. That.
Uh-huh.
Um, but you only can identify with the mark wherever it is on the hand or on the neck or the face.
Right.
And then when the workers took over the plant and barricaded themselves in the power room, several of the workers went out there to talk to the management,
Yeah.
and they got shoved in the pipe,
They got shoved in the
in the
pipe. Oh
pipe to
no.
block the oxygen.
Oh, no, that was rough. And then you only find out later once there's blood coming out of it. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so it is. It's quite a creepy. I mean, I've always known that people regard Quatermass very highly. A
Oh,
very well written, produced series of movies, and that's all down to Nigel Neal when he's writing.
yeah.
Um, I think, yeah, I think, I know we do go bang on about the audio company Big Finish. Come on, Big Finish, Quatermass.
Yeah.
It's there for the taking. Do it.
Yeah.
I'm sure some great actor would want to take up the role for you to be the audio Quatermass.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I may email Nick Briggs and say to him,
That's a really good
it
idea.
doesn't, it doesn't have to be Nigel Neal's stories they do. They could create their own, I suppose, as long as they get the copyright for the character of Quatermass.
Agreed.
Uh,
That's a really good idea, Lee.
hmm,
Hmm.
so there you go.
Yeah,
But
see, he uses this noodle a lot, you guys.
I do, yeah, because I've got nothing better to do.
I know. That's true.
But yeah, it was a quaint little British. I mean, to think that from 1955, and it still exists. That one. I think the third one still exists as well, Quatermass and the Pit. But yeah, and as you say, to see these great British actors, as you mentioned, Delgado, only in one episode, playing the columnist, wasn't he, the news reporter,
Uh-huh.
um, and was it Hugh? What was his name? Griffith
Yeah.
as as Pew, is it?
Yeah.
I mean, he was a at that time, 1950s. He was a big movie star. He was in loads of movies.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So yeah, he was. What movies was he in? He was in. I can find him. Hugh Griffiths. Anyway, yeah, he'd been in, Ben Hare. That was in 1959. Oliver, stuff like that. So big
Yeah.
movies. And
Awesome.
then he was in a TV series playing Quatermass's assistant. I mean, it was so sad as well for
Yeah,
that
that
character
would. Yeah.
because he was only taken over by in the last few minutes, and then once that meteorite in space was destroyed,
Yeah.
all the infection had gone. So he floating in space forever.
And he's
Oh,
going and he's doing like this cartwheel.
yeah.
I mean, he's just rotating like this.
I mean the model work as well. I mean, for its time, 1955, it is pretty bog standard model work, but for its time, it still stands up. I would say,
Yeah.
yeah. So enjoyable, creepy, classic in my book. So, anything else you want to say about Quatermass 2?
Yeah. They they you know the the creation of those plants was also really cool.
Mm.
And
Yeah, that the where it
the
was coming out, bubbling away in the thing,
and then it
and
would
then
wrap itself around the thing. Yeah.
I wonder if that was filmed in reverse.
Yeah. That was awesome.
That was great. That yeah, it's like
And
seaweed sort of thing, wasn't it?
yeah, yeah. And um, what other things? Yeah, I thought that I mean, that they were always like, take it back to the lab, get this to the lab. And the laboratory was sort of always was the best place to find, Quatermass if you couldn't find him in doing other stuff. It was great. So I do enjoy this character and these stories. Having seen the pit and the experiment also, I think Big Finish would be great with those. So yeah, I concur with Lee,
Mm.
Nicholas, and Jason. Please get do some of these, do some Quatermass. And yeah, I mean the fact that this was 6 parts, and I mean it was enjoyable to watch something new in 6 parts because the the kind of rhythm that a 6 part Kelly series has is just so Doctor Who. Oh my God, it's so much fun. And yeah, I mean, just so much fun. It was great. And then the other one, the other things that I liked were the costumes. I mean, I like their space suits.
Hmm. Very
They
50s.
they were really bulky and really big, and um, you could you could see what they were getting at though, and
Hmm.
they were really trying hard, so that was good. Um, yeah, that's about it for me.
So, what would you give this then? Final saying score for Quatermass 2.
Uh, I'll give it 10 rocket group rockets out of 10. I mean, I think that was just super fun. I think it was great, exciting storytelling. It was really so it was these creatures were uh there was a lot of fear there's a lot of jeopardy. There's a lot of jeopardy in these episodes. These 6 episodes, they all ended with a lot of jeopardy. Each one of them had a good cliffhanger jeopardy ending, and that's what I like. Okay, that is the essence of telling a 6 part story, I think.
I did like as well the idea of saying end of part 2
Yeah.
next week. Will be broadcast at 8 p.m.
Uh-huh.
Oh, great! Old-fashioned TV.
Old fashioned, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Me
then the
personally,
BBC warning you about it that was awesome. Like they were really worried. Like what was her name? White House at that point?
not in the 50s.
Not in the
She
50s?
she was more late 60s into the 70s with Mary
Oh,
Whitehead.
okay.
There have been people there complaining.
Oh, okay.
Um, so me personally, I could concur with you. I would give this 10 plaster casts of meteorites out of 10. Um, yeah, it's a great cult classic, which, in my opinion, has influenced a lot, a lot of sci-fi. What followed? Because back in the day, in the 40s, you didn't really get much sci-fi. It was the 50s what sort of heightened the sci-fi genre,
Yeah.
the atomic age,
Yeah.
and after after the sky's the limit with the sci-fi. But you can see the influence what Quatermass has had on British sci-fi, even American sci-fi.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it is a cult classic. I do recommend watching this episode. It's on
It's on
YouTube.
YouTube
Um, it's not the movie. This is Quatermass
too.
2 in Roman numerals.
I,
If you
I,
want Quatermass 2 with the number 2, that's the movie. Same story.
but the Quatermass 2, the movie is in color. This one is in black and white.
I don't know. It's in black and white.
Oh, you think it? Oh, okay.
It's in black and white. Yeah.
So
Um,
never mind.
but there's been slight changes in the movie, different actors.
Yeah.
Uh, but the TV series was three TV serials of the 50s was such a success for the BBC that Hammer produced 3 movies based on the three TV serials
Good.
shortly afterwards. So everybody was jumping on the bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure.
Um, yeah, so yeah, that was our little review of the original Quatermass 2 from 1955.
Yep.
You guys, if you've seen it, let us know what you think about it. If you haven't seen it, we'll just tell you it's on YouTube. And talking of YouTube, if you subscribe to our channel, which we'll be, really happy if you would, please press the bell notification button and you'll get notified every time we put up a video. We're also on Facebook, we're on X, we're on all the social media platforms. You'll find us there, Geeks Assembled, because I share the links out of these videos on all the platforms, so you can just click the links and go to them. Also, if you want to join us, please message us.
Yeah.
We just need to be 18 plus and have a working microphone and camera on the device you use, and you're good to go. So please message us on wherever you find us if you want to be on. So I think that's it, isn't it, Susan?
Yeah. It is.
I think so. Yep. So that's us done for now. That's our little British cult TV review. I will see you in our next one, which is maybe a cult movie.
Hmm.
Who knows? It might be not. So we'll
Mad
just find out.
scientists.
Yeah, we might find out when we talk about it. So until next time, please be safe and watch the skies.